We go. All right. Welcome to Leadership Academy Summer Kickoff, Great Plains Division. My name's Nick Matlack, the division manager. I hope you know that by now. I'm fired up about our meeting today. I haven't been this excited about a Leadership Academy agenda in a while. I know that Drew and Wes and myself worked really hard about what content we were going to put on there. Less than 2 weeks ago, we were out in Houston, Texas for the kickoff, and I know many of you were there. And man, this is the time of year that there's just a million emotions going through my head and things that are happening in my daily life and in my emotional state. And this is also the time of year that, you know, this we get the most business, but it's also true that with greater success comes greater adversity. And, you know, I really am a firm believer that when you try to accomplish something or you commit to something that you've never done before, your higher power tests you and it says, oh yeah, you said you want to do that? Well, let's see how bad you want it, right? For some of us, we feel like there's some roadblocks or some things that are in our way that are preventing us from really nailing that. So I wanted to begin by just talking a little bit more about where we are and where we're going. You know, as a division right now, I want to congratulate every one of you for fighting really, really hard in the month of April. You know, some of you don't know this, but we're in a great position right now of growth. Some of you might have seen it, might not have seen it, but I'm going to load up our quantum real quick, and I want to share that with you. You know, we had a pretty challenging spring for a couple of months. We had some transitions of some top-level leaders that were, you know, adjusting their schedule, maybe not working as full-time as they were in the past. We also had some challenges when it came to recruiting and office count, but I'm really proud of the organization and the way that we've responded in light of that. And I'm going to carry it over here as this page loads. I just want to talk about where we're at right now in recruiting. I want to talk about where we're at in sales. And I also want to talk a little bit more about what we're going up against. And for those of you who are new, I want to remind you that in the Great Plains Division, we're based on 4 cornerstones. And it's always a good reminder for you to look at these cornerstones, maybe even have them written down somewhere. Give yourself a little bit of a quiz on what they are. And for those of you who know what they are, well, I just got to remind you that knowledge is not power. The application of knowledge is power. And that's a lot more important. Need to get out of full screen mode over here before we can share the screen I want. There we go. All right, there we go. So I can pull this over and we can check it out. So I'll be doing some other screen sharing as we look through it, but I'll go ahead and share this real quick and you guys can check it out. You know, I wanted to show you what the weeks have been like. And again, this is not one individual office. This is an overall divisional report that we can look at here and show you what it looks like. So right now you can see that we had a bit of a challenging start to the year. It's a little bit down in recruiting, a little bit down in sales, down in sales here, but up in recruiting. And then in the month of March, we were down about 33 grand, but definitely up in recruiting. And what I want to show everybody is as recruiting starts to grow, sales starts to follow. And look at this, man, for the month of April, we're up 138%. 102 grand up against 43 grand. And luckily this year, even though last week was tough, it was Easter, some of you didn't sell that much. Here's the deal. It's a 5-week month because of the lay of the calendar. That being said, last week we shipped another 15 grand, which is just going to be bonus. And if you add that to what we're down for the campaign, we are basically break even right now, right, with last year. So think about how far behind we were at one point and think about how hard we fought to come back, right? We can't let that momentum go to waste. That being said, we're up against a $28,000 week. So what are we doing to make sure we pop this week? We really get some leaders out of last week's training class, this week's training class, and we really bring some dominance. I also got to share with you that in recruiting sense, we didn't have 5 weeks last year. Last week, we had another 10. This week, we already have about 70 people set for training again, which means we should be adding at least another 20, 25, maybe 30 people, right? And as goes recruiting, well, you all know, as goes sales, right? So we need to make sure that if there's anything you're learning from this opening comments right now, here's what you need to remember. All that matters is recruiting. What is your daily signed for training number? Because none of our teams are at the size and none of the teams are at the skill level yet to be able to dominate our goals. And when we go into the summer, here's what we're up against. Summer immediately starts. Look at last year. We went from launching 4 to 10 to 20 to 30 to 70 to 100. Do you see that? These are launch numbers week by week. 4 to 10 to 20 to 30 to 70 to 100. Are you ready for that? And that was with offices that weren't as good as we have this year. I want you to look at sales reports. We started the summer as a division with a $47,000 report. Finals week hit. That's normal. A little bit of a dip. And then bam, 50, 50, 70, 90, 100. Now, these might look impressive to some of you, but as a veteran, I'm looking at these right now, and here's what you need to write down: double vision. Last summer, if you scroll down to here at the bottom, you'll see that we sold $1.1 million, and we launched 600 recruits. Well, as goes recruiting, as goes sales. Are we in a position where we have the systems in place and we have the mentality in place that we are going to add 1,000 plus people to our team throughout our division this summer? It's a lot of sample kits. And I'm fine with not all those people doing well. They'll never know if they're going to do well until they give it a try. But give them a shot. We're pretty open at the top of our funnel to people trying this opportunity out, because what's the loss? Nothing. They win, we win, everybody's happy, right? The only way for them to not win is if we mistreat them, which I don't think any of you would do. So be in a position where you're ready to impact 1,000 lives. But the reality is you're not going to impact 1,000 lives. You're going to impact 10, 20, 30,000 lives because of the way the funnel works and all the numbers that go to the top to get the number at the bottom, right? You think about PRs, the 10-to-1 rule. Every 10 you schedule for an interview, 1 launches. Well, if that 1,000 number was PRs, that means right there we're going to schedule 10,000 PRs for interviews. And we need to know that 50% of our recruiting has to happen in the first 6 weeks. Let's look over on the sales side, right? $1.1 million. Well, our goal is $3.5 million this year. In order to get to $3.5 million, we need to have a $2 million summer. Now, I'm excited that right now we're going to finish the spring at about $450,000 or possibly even $500,000. But I'll tell you how this broke down. $3.5 million with 3 campaigns breaks down like this: $500,000 spring. Okay, after last week and we add that to it, we're at about 440. So if we do a 60K week, we're on track for our goals. If we don't, we're a little bit behind, but not a lot of bit behind. That being said, now we go into summer. Summer, we need to do $2 million. That means 2/3 of our annual sales report needs to happen in the next 100 days. Last week, Americans spent about $2 million on Cutco. 6 weeks from now, Americans are going to spend about $9 million on Cutco in the same 7-day period. How many of those millions are going to come to our division? How many of those sales in CPO are going to go into your pocket? This is the time of year. You're in the right place. You're here at the right time. But we need to look at this and realize that if we have any shot at this number, these numbers all have to double. So 7 offices, fully staffed, dominating recruiting daily, and being on the grind is what's going to get us to be able to do $90,000 and to be able to do $90,000. How about this week? Not even a push period. That was right before. That was momentum week. Are you ready to have a $200,000 week? Yeah. What's that going to feel like? How much of that business is going to come from your office? So I hope that this gives you a little bit of certainty and a little bit of a visual about what's possible and what we're working towards. And I'm going to tell you that every single office counts. Every single manager counts. Every single person that walks through your door counts. And what are you truly here for? For me, yeah, the sales numbers are exciting because I'll make a lot of money, but that's not the big thing. That's not what wakes me up and makes me stay late. What wakes me up and makes me stay late is you as people. It's the impact that it's going to make. It's the outcome that you're going to have. It's the way you're going to transform how you think and how you relate to the real world. And what it's going to do, not for this next 100 days, but what it's going to do for your impact for some of you, probably for the next 100 years. Some of you don't want to live that long, right? But I think about 100 years from now, even if you're dead, you're going to influence people with what you learn, and that influence will be continuing for 100 years. Have you thought about how important every single person and relationship is in your organization? That being said, let's talk about what the summer means. I was talking to my staff right before we got into this Leadership Academy, and here's what the summer means. The summer means, right, that you are committed to following through what you say you're going to do long after that emotional attachment to that thing has gone away. It means that you're committed to showing up every day as if you just had the best week of your life or the best demo of your life or the best interview of your life. You need to learn how to act as if you're on top every single day. I want to talk about something I just learned, and I thought it was a really key line. And he related it to marriage, but it's really true in all of our relationships. By the way, what's the most important relationship in every one of your lives? Your relationship with who? Yourself. And here's what's interesting. He said most people live a life, most people have relationships based on reciprocity. Most people have relationships that are based on reciprocity. A relationship that is a reciprocity-based relationship is a dangerous relationship. And if that relationship is with yourself, man, it's even worse. What the heck does he mean by that? Well, he means this. We tend to mirror the energy or treatment that we're being given.
Wow.
Okay, so what happens? A rep doesn't call you. And you say, all right, well, you know what? You didn't call me before your demo, so now you're calling me. I ain't going to answer and talk to you either. A rep decides that it's okay for them to show up a little bit late or no show to a meeting. So you decide that the next time you add a PC, it's cool for you to move that too. How about in a relationship with my wife, right? Oh, you're going to be a bitch to me today? All right, cool. Let's go. How is that ever going to create something healthy? If you have any reciprocity-based relationships right now, you need to make a decision in advance to stop and let go of the reciprocity-based relationship. Make a decision for how you're going to choose to show up, because your attitude is your choice. Your mentality is your choice. How you choose to show up every day is your choice. The analogy I had last summer was this one, right? Looking at a, bonfire and saying, well, your fire and flames are going down. So you know what? I'll give you wood when you give me more heat.
That makes no sense.
But that's exactly how we treat our relationships every day. When you give me more energy, I'll give you more back. Good luck winning that. The fire is going to go out and it's going to be gone. So what you have to do is make the decision to show up and go first. Treat other people the way you want to be treated. I could spit all kinds of different ideas and cliche phrases at you, but if you want to win your summer, if you want to be that championship organization, then stop having relationships with yourself, with your reps, with your organization. How's that? Oh, last week didn't go very well, so I'm not going to work hard in my organization until my organization works hard for me. Oh, my staff wasn't fully committed last week, so I'll commit more when my staff commits more to me. I get it. Right now, you're all staring at me, looking at me, and you're like, well, that's stupid, Nick. That's foolish. I'd never do that. Yeah? Bet you all did it in the last 24 to 48 hours. Subconsciously or consciously, it happened. So you can look at me, and when we discuss it and we talk about it and we're real, it makes no sense, right? That's why you just looked at me and it's like, that makes no sense. Yeah, I know. Then why do we do it? Because we're human. Because we're all human. And because we need to reprogram ourselves. Your brain is going to go down the easiest path possible. And the easiest path possible is to treat other people the way they're treating you. So stop mirroring other people and make a commitment, make a decision right now to show up at your best every day, regardless of how people are showing up. You're a leader, and leadership is a lifestyle. And if you're on this meeting right now, if you've been invited, if you've been a part of this, you know that by leveling up your leadership in one area of your life, you level up your leadership in every area of your life. So that's why Vector matters, because it makes you a better you. Who cares about the sales report and the recruiting reports and all of that stuff? You want to hit those numbers, then show up the right way every day. And that's a decision that you don't make once. It's not a decision that you make at the beginning of the summer and you think is going to process for the next 100 days. It's a decision that you have to make every day. You have to make every hour of every day. You have to make in every single interaction that you're going to show up to, because you will fight adversity. You will fight frustration. You will face all types of demons throughout this summer. There's going to be the biggest challenges that you don't even know how to handle yet, that are going to come your way. And you're going to have to decide over and over and over and over again about how you choose to show up. So here's some things that come to mind when I think about the summer. I think about key words like opportunity. I love the word that we talk about all the time called challenge-tunity. Within every opportunity is a challenge, and within every challenge is an opportunity, and it's all about what you choose to focus on. I think about the word intensity. Level up your intensity. Some of you are looking at me right now and you're like, gosh, he's intense about this. Heck yeah, I am, because it's freaking summer. And I've been waiting for this moment right here, right now for 8 months. And 100 days from now, I'll be waiting for it again for 8 months. And I'm not going to let it pass me by. Challenge is another word that comes to mind. I love challenges. Do you love challenges? Challenges make us stronger. Challenges make us better. But how do you look at your challenges? Are they setbacks? Are they frustrations? Are they failures? Or do you learn to fail forward, and do you learn to look at your challenges and embrace them and say, bring it on? I'm so excited this is happening right now, and you laugh about it, and you smile about it, and you think about all the benefits and all the experience that you're gaining from this moment, because everything you go through is practice and experience for life. I think about the word fun. Summer's fun. More people walking through the door, more networking, more interactions, more sales, more CPO, more competition, more prizes, more opportunities to compete. That's fun. But you have to make it fun. It's a choice. I think about full commitment and full throttle. Full commitment. Winning every day. I think about perseverance and determination. I think about ignoring all the naysayers. And I'm going to tell you right now that if you have people that are doubters, if you have people that are haters, if you have people that are looking at you, telling you you're foolish, you're stupid, you're crazy for being here right now, then that's a great indication that you are transforming your life. Because all of a sudden, guess what? They're not used to you doing these things, which means you're changing, you're evolving, and they can either choose to evolve and go along and parallel where you're headed, or they can choose to do their own thing. That's their choice. That's the freedom of life in America, right? But don't let those people hold you back from your best. Don't let those people hold you back from an opportunity that could change your life forever, and probably already has. Full throttle, full intensity. Timmy knows it. My wife, beautiful, most amazing woman in the world, and I think about it all the time. She knows that when we get to this timeline, she's going to miss me. I'm going to miss her, but I have to put the business first in order to live the lifestyle and quality of life that we choose and we want for our future and our children. It's about being intentionally imbalanced. I'm intentionally imbalanced in the summer with the amount of time that I invest into my business, because this summer is not about the next 100 days. This summer is what creates the stepping stone for us to build our development off of and be fully staffed and fully filled with offices 365 days from right now. And I can't miss out on that opportunity. I think about good days and bad days. I think about how even in a bad day, you can still win a bad day. I think about good hours and bad hours. I think about not being a victim of your circumstances, not being a victim of the things that come your way, right? What's the quote? Life is 10% what happens to you and 90% how you respond. The people who are going to win this summer are the ones who choose to respond the best version of themselves. It's not about what happens to them. And how much sweeter is your story where you can look around and you can say, oh, what challenges do you have this summer? Oh, yeah? Cool. Mine were 10. You don't have to say it, but know it. Mine were 10 times harder than all of yours, and I still won. Those are the sweet victories, aren't they? I think about how it's all about your work ethic, your attitude, and your mindset. I think about mindset over skill set. So where are you at right now for the summer? What are you thinking about for the summer? What level of commitment do you have for the summer? Because there is no tomorrow. The summer's here. Make a decision, right? Show up. Because I can't do it alone. It's going to be us going after this thing together.
Can't wait to help. Let's go.
Dirty 30. Who wants to know what the summer Dirty 30 is going to be? Anybody down?
Yeah.
Weak sauce. Know about your fast start? Nobody says anything. I'll look at the time and make sure we save ourselves some of it. I'm going to look at the summer events calendar. By the way, I've already got one of these printed out for everybody who's here, and during the division meeting, I'll be passing those out, but we're going to do a very quick review of a couple of upcoming things. First off, this coming Tuesday, please mark it in your calendar as the first official day of the summer. That is April 30th. And I got to tell you that we have a contest. The contest I'll be talking about later, but the contest is for a grand day. Don't be a goose egg on day one. Find a way to sell something. Book a lot of demos. But here's the reality. Book a bunch of demos so you can sell a grand. You sell a grand on day one, I'll buy you a steak knife. You have a steak knife, you're going to sell a heck of a lot more signatures, ultimates, and a lot more Cutco overall. People freaking love the steak knife. Get yourself a steak knife. Have a grand day on Tuesday. Second big thing we need to talk about is on Tuesday, the Virtual Sales Summit push begins. You have until Tuesday to sign up for it. It's $75 or $98, I don't know, something below 100. And if you sign up for it, you have access now to compete during the push. If you haven't seen the push period prizes, there's thousands, if not tens of thousands of dollars. They're giving away MacBook Pros. They're giving away $1,000 travel vouchers. They're giving away things like Vitamixes and AirPods. It's going to be awesome. And you can't compete for those prizes if you're not signed up for it. Sign up for it. You can charge your commission account and payments and make it more affordable. Do it on Vector Connect right away. I can also tell you that on that day is when the push begins, and it's a 3-week push. It goes from April 30th through May 20th. And so in those 3 weeks, right, you have an opportunity for any of your sales to count, but the last week of the Virtual Sales Summit push begins the first week of our divisional push. So I need you to see that we have a divisional push. This is going to be called the Grand Opening Push Week. What that is Great Plains Division Assistant Manager Meeting will be on Wednesday. This is May 22nd from 4 to 6. This is division-wide. If you're on pay, if you're on staff in any office, you need to be a part of that meeting, either face-to-face or on Zoom, depending on where your territory is. May 29th, National Virtual Sales Summit is from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. Central Standard Time, so make sure you join and you jump on that as well. That being said, we also have on May 29th, a division meeting in the Edmond Pilot office. That's the evening, 5 to 8:30. District and branch managers, drive your teams here. Fort Smith, Fayetteville, obviously it'd be a late night, so you guys can join on Zoom, but I would definitely have you two come together. But Tulsa and that whole corridor, as well as all the way over here near Edmond and Oklahoma City, come together, come check out the brand new pilot, and let's freaking pack the house. If we have enough in attendance, there's a chance that I'll be renting out a really cool hotel for that as well. We jump into June 10th through the 26th, SC1 Push Week, and this is the summer playoffs. If you're an athlete, you need to think about how we have the opening push, the summer playoffs, and the Super Bowl, right? We have a 6 and 10K Alliance meeting. We have a service call training right before the division meeting, and the division meeting will be on June 10th, Monday, and that's going to be from 11 to 5, okay? That night, right at 5 o'clock, bam, is when SC1 push begins, and we compete against our entire division as well as all of Texoma, and that is going to be lightning. In Dallas on the 26th, we have SC1. 10K push winners and 10K fast starters. We are taking a limo payout in Dallas, Texas. It's one thing to do it in Oklahoma City. It's another thing to do it in a city like Dallas. And I can tell you that that will be a night that you definitely won't forget, but you might not remember. That being said, I will leave you with the fact that if you do win that, you will be staying the night in Dallas, so you have safe travels back the next morning. On July 15th and into July, we have our SC Push Week. This is the push of the Super Bowl. This is the push of the year. You don't want to suck during this time. So here's the deal. July 10th, we have another AM meeting. July 10th, we also have an Alliance meeting. And July 15th, back in Oklahoma City, 11 to 5, we have another kickoff to the push. That night, the push begins. Any orders you process will count. And then we look at August 3rd, SC2 Summer Conference 2, Austin, Texas. That is up against 4 or 5 of the other great divisions. Yes, it's a 6-hour drive. And yes, it's overnight and completely worth it. 12:30 until 8 p.m. It'll be an early morning. 6K push dinner night at Fogo de Chao in Austin at 8:30. Rep stay the night in Austin. If you're qualified and at 15,000, you're now eligible to be part of the events team training and service call training. This is where we have the best of the best from 4 divisions in the best region come together and teach you how. 8 to 3, and then those of you who have sipped 10K for SC2, we're not doing a limo at that point. We are doing a Lake Travis boathouse for the entire night with 4 other divisions, and it is probably going to have 100 to 150 people, championship people, that all just made a lot of freaking money in the last 2.5 weeks, and they're going to be having a lot of fun out on the lake. You'll be staying the night one more time. That being said, on August 13th here in Oklahoma, we will have our Summer Conference for Champions. That will include service call training, Leadership Academy, as well as the Dirty 30 event. If you want to know what the Dirty 30 event is, we are going to be doing all of those meetings over in Tulsa. We are going to be doing a river float and picnic down Tahlequah River, and it's going to be a freaking blast. So if you've never done that before, I haven't either, but I've heard great stories. It's going to be fun, and it's just going to be our division coming together with all of our champions and all of our leaders. That being said, more updates to come. And if you have not come to SLDM, it's at the bottom here. I will be running a total of 5 of those throughout the summer, 3K to attend. I know we just had Kinsey go through it. Her eyes were like, it was on drugs. I've never been on drugs, but it looked like it. She was like, oh my gosh, I didn't know this was possible. Sam was sitting there the whole time, and he was like, just so excited. He's like sweating over his papers, like, I'm going to sell so much. I'm just kidding. No, not really. But these guys were really fired up. If you haven't gone through SLDM, get through SLDM. It is definitely worth it, and it's worth checking out. So hopefully you're fired up about the summer. That's what to look forward to. I know I'm fired up. Let's dive into a couple of updates and things like that. And those of you who could not make the SLDM back on this last Tuesday, we will be having the next one on May 15th. That's after finals week. Mark your calendars, and it is from 12 to 3 that day. Again, I would highly recommend dressing nice and coming to the pilot, because we just got a really big upgrade for a really nice office in Edmond. However, if you can't make it, you can jump on Zoom, but I'd much rather introduce myself and meet you in person. Questions, concerns, comments on the calendar of events?
Can you please email that to the managers?
I already have. It's in the email that I sent you earlier with the calendar of the summer. So it should be in there with all the other docs. I also have some other docs that I'll be sending out soon. So any other questions, comments, concerns? All right. The first push week of the summer, if you're not going to compete in the national one, right, that starts this coming Tuesday, is May 14th through May 28th. It's 2 weeks long. This push week is not for trophies. It's for bragging rights, and it's for prizes. We are going to have prizes at the 3K level, the 5K level, the 7K level, and the 10K level, and those prizes will be announced as we get closer to the push. These prizes will be for really awesome stuff. Some of it free Cutco, some of it may be gift cards, some of it may be some travel. I am heavily investing into this push because I need you to set the tone and be the rabbits for what the summer looks like. My recommendation to you would be to go into that push with at least 10 demos. And those of you who are assistant managers, here's just a quick thought. There's 18 weeks for the summer. 6 to 6.5 of those are during push. If I were you, I would find a way that at least during this push in May, because you're going to be busy with booking PRs and running the office and making sure you run interviews, right? That you don't set the biggest goal. Again, if you want to, talk to your manager, but we need your help. Remember, we can't go after big goals without a big team, and we can't build a big team without a lot of effort into recruiting. So in May, we need your help to help us recruit. So I'm fine with an assistant manager selling $3,000 for this push period. But let me just walk you through a concept. If you sell 3K for the push in May, you're going to create a lot of confidence. You're going to create some good money. You're going to hit some promotions. And then when you get to June, you're going to have more leads. And when that happens, you'll also have more time because our team will be stacked by then, and you'll want to make sure you don't get beat by your team. So here's what happens. You then sell $6,000 in that push. And that push is a couple days longer. Instead of being 14, I think it's 15 or 16, right? That being said, now you're in a position where out of the first 2 pushes of the summer, you've already sold 9,000. And that's not assuming you're selling 500 to 1,000 a week for the rest of the weeks that are on push. And then you get into SC2. If you're an assistant manager, it's my expectation and your district or branch manager's expectation that you're shipping 10K. So let's think about this. 3K, 6K, 10K. That's $19,000 assuming that you hit all those goals. And if you miss them, that's still 15 grand. But it's only out of 6 to 7 weeks. The summer's 18 long. Let's say that 3 of the weeks you're traveling, or maybe there are transitions in and out of school, so you only have 15 of the 18 to sell for the summer. Well, here's the deal. You still have another 7 weeks or 8 weeks that haven't been in push. If you're shipping $1,000 for each one of those weeks and you did 19,000, you're knocking out close to $30,000, Arl. If you only did 15, you're still getting over 20. If you're at 0 right now, which none of you are, that means you're going to make $5,000 from just your sales. That doesn't include your AM pay. And what if you're already at 30%? What if you're at bonus or you get to bonus? Are you making $6,000, $7,000, $8,000? What's that feel like? That's double the average income of a college student for any hourly job. And that's not including your management pay, which I highly recommend completely withholding, throwing into a savings account so you're eligible to qualify to go to Olean and be eligible to possibly run an office next year. Let me be very upfront and clear that if you want to go to Olean and participate in Leadership Academy, I have two expectations. Number one, $500 saved in a Vector savings account. None of you should have a problem with AM income over the course of the summer as long as you don't touch it. Number two, make sure you're at 10,000 in sales, right? And I'll accept 6,000, but again, if you've worked for a whole summer and you're hearing me talk right now, right, you should find a way to get to 10 by that point. Cool? Cool.
Are you saying like personal sales or like $10,000 for like that campaign?
Personal sales, yeah. Be at 10K, but again, if you're starting now, you should be shipping at least 10K for the summer for sure. Cool? So I have an announcement to make. It's a little bit about this summer and what it's going to be about, but I want you to write it down. We have a new program called Triple Threat. Who would like to go out to a really fancy dinner with me in addition to all the other fun stuff? Anybody down to do that? Thumbs up, high five, yes? All right, cool. Melissa's pumped. All right, good. Connor's even pumped. Look at that. All right, cool. So here's the reality, right? Sam's not pumped. Okay, I'm just picking on people. But an iPhone is definitely not pumped. They haven't even moved. Okay, so here's the reality, right? If you want to go out with a really fancy dinner with me and your district manager, your district or branch manager would have to get you to qualify. You have to hit all three of the triple threat. For anybody that's on pay, here's what the triple threat means. It's 3 levels. It's 3 qualifications that you have to hit. These should be things that are basically just recognizing you for doing your job, and the payout will be in August. Step number 1, you have to sell 10K for the summer. This isn't 10K career sales. This is during the course of the summer, you've hit Dirty 30. Does that make sense? By the way, that's like $500 a week. Some of you should be selling 10K in a week if you get really good at your leads. Cool? Second thing that we need from you is we need you to be a team builder. And what that means is you get a minimum of 3+ friends on the team. Now I'm about to acknowledge and promote our brand new PR prize levels. I hope you're fired up about that. Not like district managers don't even know this yet. It's going to blow your mind. But without those prizes, you should still be a team builder as an assistant manager. Find a way to get 3 friends on the team. Find a way to add some of your buddies, right? We need to clone you. Obviously, more than 3 is the goal, but a minimum of 3. Cool? What if you got those done in May? And I've been worried about June, July, and August. And I got to remind you that it's a heck of a lot easier to get people bought into trying this job out when they don't have a job yet than waiting until they already have a job and now we're trying to work around their schedule and their hours. This is why urgency matters. There is no tomorrow. The third and final thing for triple threat is booking 100 PRs. By the way, I'm going to probably recognize it at 50 PRs. If you book 50 for the summer, okay, those aren't your own PRs. These are just any PRs. Social media, Facebook, we're not really talking about that. We're talking about actual PRs. They could be yours, mainly other reps, right? Book 50 and we'll give you credit, but your goal should be to book 100, right? Because if we have 7 offices and every office averages 5 people, that's 35 AMs. 35 AMs booking 100 apiece is 3,500 PRs booked, and that's more than our entire division with Conveyor did last year. We win. And honestly, if you're going to work 10 weeks out of the summer and you're only working 2 days in your office every week and you're booking 5 PRs each day that you're in the office, why would you not book 100? So keep track of it. Find a way to look at it and see where you're at. Everybody with me on that? So triple threat, 10K in sales, 3 friends on the team, and book 100 PRs. Those would be the goals. You do all 3 of those things as an AM on pay, you and I are now going out to a very fancy dinner as a team, as a group at the end of the summer, and we'll make it the night of your life. Sound fair? All right, good. As long as you dress nice and make me look good. I'm just kidding. So here's the next thing that we're going to talk about, some updates with programs. The first thing is, right, the new PR prize levels. I want to talk a little bit about the prize levels. Right now in training, we're recognizing people for giving 25 names or 50 names, right, or 100 names. Well, we're going to shift that up right now. And if you choose to still give extra days for 25 or 50, that's your prerogative. But here's the deal. You probably all know about this document, right? And it's called the Fast Start Upgrade Challenge to post on social media. Well, this is not hard to win, and all it does is give you extra days. So really what I think we're doing is devaluing this by giving extra days for just giving 25 names. Who doesn't have 25 contacts on their list? Does that make sense? Now, we're going to still encourage people to give anybody and everybody they know, but we're just going to let people know in advance on day 1 to sync all their contacts, because tomorrow we're going to give you an opportunity to win some free Cutco by recommending friends. So what we're going to change now in our division, and we need everybody on board with this, is 100 names equals a free red table knife. Why do I love the red table knife? Because now they have all 3 colors in their set. And with the amount of stuff that we sell in red and the amount of people that love red now, if we have a lot of our top reps that have a ton of contacts recommending that, they've got all 3 colors in their set. They've got the pearl, the classic, the red, exciting. But the big move we're going to make is at 100 or 200. 100 gets you a free red table knife. 200 gets you a free steak knife. This means managers, use part of your 1/3 credit. Order them in advance, right? And make sure you have them on hand so you can pay them out. Because when these top recruits that we want their friends from, that are going to ship big, already have a table knife and a steak knife, how much easier is it to offer the Silver Cup specials and to close on the signatures and the ultimates? And how much does that build our PPR? How much does that build the first weekend paycheck and their confidence? Everybody with me on that? Is it going to cost us money? Yes, but a heck of a lot less money than it used to cost us when we had all these other programs, right? And it's an investment, right? You could buy both of those for cheaper than the recruiting bonus you make off of them. Cool? The second big one we're changing is the actual prizes for getting friends on the team. Previously, we had like a Yeti, right, or a cheese knife at 2, and then we had another one at 5, and another one at 7, and another one at 10. Well, the reality is that those were cool, but I don't think that we were really driving much business with them. So what we're going to do is change this, and this is changing tomorrow. So managers, you can look at this, and we can talk about it. So here's what we're going to discuss, right? In our office, right, and if you have issues with this, talk to me, we are going to level up the contest. I think recognizing just 2 friends on the team, here's the deal. I've had reps who went through training that already had 2 friends in training before, which means they automatically won. They didn't even give us any names yet, right, just because of the interview. So what we're going to do is start to recognize the 3 level. Why does the 3 level matter? Because that is when you get the team builder scholarship and you become eligible to compete for us. We don't want to be recognized anything less than being an actual team builder. Right? And the reality is that we want everybody to be a team builder on our team. So recommend as many people as you can, and then work through the process of advanced training and everything I'm going to teach you later. We should be always trying to get 1 more friend in training every week. All right. That being said, here's what we're going to be doing. And this is very, very exciting because I know some of you are like, dude, where's the payoff contest at the end of the summer and the kicker? Well, here's where we're allocating the funds. Are you ready? All right. 3 friends on the team. And again, to qualify, they have to launch and sell, process at least $250. Those aren't our rules. Those are Nationals rules, right? So we're going to participate in alignment so we don't make things complicated. They got to ship, right? At least $250. But when you launch a friend under your name, it ships $250. You get a free pair of Ray-Bans or AirPods or a $150 gift card to Ticketmaster for any experience of your choice. So I'm going to say that again. 3 friends on the team, you get AirPods, $150 to any concert, or Ray-Bans, your choice. Managers, that's about $150 payout, which is about $50 per PR. If you think about the money you make off of somebody just selling $250 minimum, which honestly, they'll probably sell more than that with your training, that shouldn't be a hard decision for you. Cool? Second level is 5. Second level is 5. Actually, I lied. Second level is 7, not 5. We're bumping up the levels. 3, 7. 7. Let me talk about 7. Are you ready for 7? Mm-hmm. Who here wishes you had the entire gourmet set with the cleaver, the hearty slicer, the vegetable knife, the Santoku, and the boning knife, and a roll-up paquette? Who wishes that it was a lot easier than having to go 20 weeks in a row over $1,000 to win? Okay, perfect. Get 7 friends on the team, and I'll buy you the entire gourmet set. Oh, real quick. If you don't like the gourmet set, then I'll buy you the K-Bar 2-pack, which means you get the K-Bar Explorer and you get the K-Bar Outdoorsman. One or the other, your choice. 7 friends on the team, sell $250, you're getting both of those. By the way, this accumulates. Managers, don't worry, there's a cheap way to buy the gourmet set, right? Which means you're only investing about another $150. But this time you're getting 4 more recruits instead of 3 more recruits, so you're actually getting the better end of the deal. Can I get a next level?
Next level!
All right, somebody's fired up about this one. You can write down, you get 10 friends on the team. This is for the whole course of the semester, the whole course of the summer, right? 10 friends on the team. I don't care what you ship for your push. You're going on the next limo ride or lake party. Ooh. 10 friends on the team. Doesn't matter what you sell. You're going on it.
Look at Melissa.
And I want to know who the person's going to be that's going to be number 1. Because we have 1 more level, and this level is at 20. 20 people on the team. You develop 20 people to get on this team this summer, and here's what we're giving you. And manager, you might freak out a bit at this, but I want you to think about the hard work, the discipline, the engagement, and the intensity that somebody would have to actually get 20 of their own friends on the team. Plus, if they do that, what kind of community and culture do you have? And when that happens, right, how likely are they to win the team builder? Are you ready for this?
Yes.
Because those of you who are sitting here, you're like, where's my trip to Hollywood? Well, here's your trip to Hollywood. Your manager will give you a $1,500 credit to any Airbnb trip of your choice.
Really?
I've got some documents I'm going to email out. You can check them out. I think they're already in my email. Those of you who haven't been intentional about recommending your friends, those of you who haven't been sending out your messages all the time, those of you who haven't been doing the things you know you ought to be doing, well, I hope that that gets you over your lame hump. And I hope that it gets you tied into doing the right things regardless of how you feel about it and finding a way to make it happen. Make sense? That being said, right, managers, I'm going to send this out. And here's the deal. I've checked with Drew. I've checked with Wes. I've checked with Lloyd. I've checked with myself. It is, unless you tried to make this like not profitable, it is impossible to not be profitable with this program. I guarantee it. But you have to make the decision. You have to show up doing it the right way. Does that make sense? So managers, I am sending this to you now. You guys can check it out. But this should be a game changer for our division. And remember, all that matters is recruiting. We cannot hit our goals with just us. No matter how good we get, we have to build a bigger team. And we want our people to be a part of building that. We want our people to fight to get more people on the team and to go out of their way to do whatever it takes. And they're not going to do that if you don't incentivize them right. Does that make sense? It's not like we're paying them a commission. Realize that back in 2012, when I had the biggest PR program in my career, you know what we were doing? We were paying a 5% commission to any PR that you got on the team. Let me just clarify. You know what that means? That means that if you recommended a friend and your friend did $10,000, you got a $500 cut of that. If your friend didn't have a 10K fast start, they just hit Dirty 30 for the summer, you made $500 off that friend.
So we're doing that, right?
Okay? None of these contests are that expensive. Does that make sense? Okay? So the reality is, since we're not paying out those commissions, we're not paying out those bonuses, we're investing it elsewhere, and it's going to be very, very exciting. So again, they can't qualify unless they launch and they sell at least 250, right? So for those friends that maybe your rep gets on the team and they're just trying to manipulate the system, well, they're going to have to spend their own money to be able to get one of those friends, right, to qualify. Because again, they can't just get a contract and sell and then quit and steal your kit. Does that make sense? So if you have concerns, if you have questions, you can ask. But again, we've really thought a lot about this. I know this is going to be a game changer, and I want to make sure that you see it. Cool? All right. Questions, concerns, comments on any of that? Okay, sweet. I also just got the stuff from Drew. He's an hour behind, so he forwarded it to me right before this, but I'm checking it out. I can share some of that stuff later and some of the other prizes, but I hope that you're fired up about that. Last two things before we bring up Tyler Daniels and we stay on time is the new PR training video. I want you all to write this down. In an interview, your goal is to collect 10 plus PR names on average per person that's in there. Everybody with me on that? Okay.
Per person.
Yep. Okay. Cool. So that is your goal. That is your opportunity. Now, managers, when you are running training, your goal is to collect 150 names and numbers per person. Does that make sense? 150 names and numbers per person, okay, in training. Last year, our division averaged 70. If we double the amount of names we collect, we double the amount of numbers that we are able to send conveyor to, and then we double the amount of numbers that we can follow up with through our PR Blitz days, right? The video training is not going to get those numbers for you. The video training got us 70 last year. We are editing that and Drew and Wes are re-recording a portion, and we're using more of the national video. They've done tests on the national video. They're getting 100 names collected just using the national video. But now with the higher level prizes, the national video, and you doing a much better stump speech with assistant manager help, we should be getting that number up to 150. Does that make sense? So starting tomorrow, look out on video training in day 2 for a new PR section. And over the next couple of weeks, we'll just have to learn it, roll with the punches, figure it out. And we need to be intentional about collecting the names, scrubbing the duplicates, and getting them sent. If you want to hold back names, that's fine. But here's my philosophy. It doesn't hurt for them to see a text and then get a follow-up call the next day. The reality is that we want anybody and everybody in our division to know that we have jobs available and to work for us, or at least consider it. Fair enough? All right. That being said, I am going to go ahead and drag this over real quick because I just found out the push period. Actually, you know what? I'm not going to show them to you yet. We're going to talk about that at division meeting. A little teaser, and we'll hide it for you, but it's going to be pretty cool. So hopefully you're fired up about that. All right. Web PDI was the only last thing on me on my section about program updates and new sections. Here's one of the things I want you all to write down. Webpdi.com. Webpdi.com. Some of you know about this. You already have an account. If you're on pay and your manager is paying for the service, which they should be, go to webpdi.com, put in your rep number, and then your password is your rep number. Once you have accessed your account, there are 4 things that I want you to do. Okay, 4 things that I want you to do. If you don't have an account yet, talk to your manager, figure it out. If your manager hasn't bought WebPDI, ask them why not. And if they tell you, I don't want to, call me and tattletale. You have my permission. The reality is that WebPDI is $59 a month, and for branch managers, it's even cheaper because you're a branch. But the reality is that what we need to do, I said that too many times, right? Here's what you need to know. Step 1, watch the videos. You click up in the corner, WebPDI TV. All the videos are screenshots, recording, and they walk you through exactly how to function and use the system. You will be blown away at how much content and information is built into that platform if you just go and figure it out. It would probably take you about an hour to watch all of the little videos and the main one, but it's worth it. Step 2, I need you guys to download the app. You can go on your phone, iPhone, or Android, and you can download the WebPDI app. I believe it's on Android. Maybe it's not, but I'm pretty sure.
It is.
Okay, good. It is. And you can go to your app store and you can download WebPDI. Then you never have an excuse. My laptop's broken. I don't have Wi-Fi, whatever. Anytime you're talking to a rep, right, get 3 friends on the team, win yourself some earbuds, and then you can talk while you're typing and put everything into the freaking app. The point is that if you're ever talking to a rep about their business, how are you effectively managing or leading them if you're not recording what you're talking about? You guys with me on that? You have to have a record, okay? Because if you don't know their goals and they're not in front of you, then you can't help. And what if you're in an interview, you pass your phone off to another manager to answer while you're running your interview and recruiting, and that manager doesn't know your rep or the status that they're in? You could really hurt somebody's future because your words matter. All right, 3rd one that you need to do. You need to sync your contacts. If you have a Gmail account, this is beautiful. Are you ready? You can go into the backdoor account and you can put your Gmail in there. And you can sync every WebPDI account to your Google account. And literally, with the click of a button, okay, with the click of a button, you can upload it to Gmail, restart your phone, and in the matter of a minute, your phone now has the name, the phone number, the email, the caller ID, and all of the notes about that rep already uploaded in it. And here's the beautiful thing. Check it out. When that rep is a hit, a one week wonder, right? And they come in, they quit, and then they leave, and that's somebody you never had to connect with again. Well, when we delete it out of WebPDI, it deletes out of your Google contacts. How about 1 year later when you leave and move on from Vector, or you open your own office? Well, guess what? The moment you open your own office, all you have to do is unsync the contacts from your Gmail, and all of them are removed. Those of you who are managers that are not on WebPDI, that one thing is worth more than $59 a month, guaranteed. Because all you have to do is complete training on Vector Live, wait for it to upload to Vector Connect, go on to WebPDI and click Sync Contacts, and before training is ever launched, you already have the name, phone number, and email on caller ID on your phone for everybody you just launched. You're nuts if you're not on this program. And every one of your AMs can do it as well. An AM leaves, you don't want them to have all that access and contact info anymore. Easy, take them off pay, removal of all the synced contacts. Fourth and final thing you need to do is start using it. By the way, how can you manage other people using the app and the website if you aren't putting in your own data? So we've got day one of summer. All of your demos, all of your sales, and all of your CPO, right, as well as your goals should be uploaded in there. Okay, I've already got some formats for the long-term and short-term notes. Just text me, I'll email them over, copy and paste. I've got the whole system locked and loaded. I also have automatic text being sent out that cost me like less than 1/10 of a penny per text. And so anytime somebody becomes a week 1, a week 2, or a week 3 sample kit, every Sunday automatically at 5 p.m., they're able to get a text from me that says, hey, it's been a week without a sale. Just want to make sure you can come in and make a plan to get back on the sales report or drop off your kit. Sample kit management gets easier. Awareness of reps' future demos gets easier. Calculating totals for the week. Rolo syncs with WebPDI. I don't have to go on to Vector Connect. Every single time an order comes in, I can just click the Rolo button and see every order, the CPO, the customer name, and the phone number already uploaded. It's that easy. If you're not using it, you're nuts. So, that being said, I'm going to go ahead and bring up Tyler Daniels, our district manager and most veteran district manager in the Great Plains Division. We found Tyler the first summer I was out here in 2016 down in the Shawnee and Norman area. Don't believe he'd ever done sales at that point. Remember meeting him for the first time. He had quite the fro of some hair and a big smile on his face, very eager to learn. Didn't get off to the strongest start, but man, he was loyal. He was committed, he was passionate, and he was ready to grow. And I just remember those early years of Tyler really hustling hard, really learning a lot of things, really be developing and becoming a better manager out of the Norman area, and then jumping in and saying, yeah, I want to run a district, and moving up to Stillwater. And since, he's been building and growing his business. Check out this stat. Right now, his organization is up for the spring over 400%. He's having his best campaign ever non-summer, and he's got a branch going out with development as well as filling his staffing for his office, and he's got some massive goals. And one of the ways he's going to be reaching those goals is the Facebook Jumpstart program. So Tyler's going to be delivering a little bit more of a review about it, why it matters. And here's the deal. For some of you right now, you're like, oh, dude, I was supposed to be messaging since April 1st, and I haven't done it at all. I don't even know what it is. I'm so far behind. Well, you know what? You don't have to be great to start, but you do have to start to be great. So let go of it. Put it behind you. Sit down and say, you know what? Tomorrow's day one. And if tomorrow's day one, sweet. At least you're doing it right before the summer begins. And if you do it for the next 30 days, 50 messages a day, you're going to send out 1,500 messages. And for some of you, you don't even have that many friends in the territory, which means you still message everybody. And by that point, mailers are hitting, gold period starting, finals are over, PR programs rocking, right? The point of Facebook Jumpstart is to literally get exactly that, a jumpstart to the summer. Yes or yes, right? So why would you look at this and say, oh, I'm behind, I screwed it, I blew it. No. It doesn't matter where you're at right now. What matters is where you want to go and the direction you want to head. So thank you, Tyler, for all of your preparation. Tyler also created a document he'll be sharing, but I've already printed. Managers, you should do that too, talking about targeting mass add and delete. And we are fired up for your message. So you are larger than life here in the pilot, my friend. And the floor is yours. Ready, set, go. Can't hear you.
Yeah, sorry, I was muted. All right, cool.
Go ahead.
Can you turn it down? All right, sweet. Sam's getting the front row service tonight, y'all. This is awesome. All right, thanks for letting me talk. Nick loves to call me within 36 hours of the meeting and ask me to do the talk. So last minute preparation, but it's okay. I'm just kidding. Sweet. So I'm going to be going into Facebook Jumpstart, and just to give you a couple overview things. I'm going to be going over the tips, just some tips for the program in general. We're going to be talking about the Facebook Jumpstart group as well. And then I just wanted to show off a little bit on my Google form and just kind of show you guys the layout and stuff and how I track that and how I respond and stuff. And then just a quick plug on kind of piggybacking on the PR talk that Nick talked about earlier. So the first thing that I do want to go over is the importance of the program. So for those of you who don't know what it is, that's definitely okay. There's always a time to learn for things. But can you see the screen okay? All right, sweet. So first thing, it's a step-by-step support system for any office committed to social recruiting in April and May. This is really another way for people to get out there and take advantage of social networks, especially if you have assistant managers in your organization that are going to be with you through the summer. This is definitely a program that you want them on as well. Now, this is for people who are open right now. This is people who are about to open, such as some of the branches, and any assistant managers that are going to be in these offices helping them in the summer. So if you're on this call right now, it's for you. So this is why we're going over this message. Now, the cool thing about it is there's not anything that you really need to download or do any research on or anything like that. All the research has been done for you. So we get to do what we all do best, which is like listen to kind of these audio files. And it has instructions on there and really step-by-step, detailed objectives for you to do to be able to get a hold of your organization. So first off, perfecting your profile. If you haven't done this, that's the first thing you need to do. You can't be friending people and messaging people if your profile doesn't look like theirs or what you want the recruits you want it to look like. Second of all is friending. You can't message people if you're not sending out friend or if you're not messaging them. So the cool thing about that, guys, is that we're going to go over that tonight on an easy and efficient way for you to be able to send a ton of friend requests and then also to delete the pending requests that you've been waiting on. This is also a good way for you to just brand yourself because, whenever a lot of people don't know what Vector is. And so when they do hear the name Vector, do you want them to think of all the stuff that comes up, on Google or whatever? Or do you want them to think of you, oh, that's that Tyler Daniels kid from Facebook, or that's that Claire Beckman girl that always tells me happy birthday or is liking my pictures or whatever? You got to realize that that's kind of what we're doing here is we're rebranding, or we are branding Vector in your organization or in your area as well. Last couple things as far as the tips just for the program. This is for you to be able to take all of those likes and happy birthdays and sharing of pictures and stuff and actually turn those into recruits, because then you can message them, and whenever you pop up in their inbox, it's not, oh, hey, who is this kid that's randomly messaging me? It's, oh, hey, it's that Tyler guy who's always liking my pictures, or the one who's always sharing those funny cat videos or whatever it might be. And now you're looked at as someone they know. And it's happened several times, but I've had people that I send a request to and they message me and they're like, do I know you? And I just follow the script. And it's like, you just look familiar. We had some mutual friends. And they're like, oh, you look familiar too. Knowing dang well we never seen each other ever. And so it's just crazy to know that they can trust within that mutual friend thing, and if you're liking them as well. And then this also allows you to be able to message them without feeling like you're doing anything wrong or that you're bugging people as well. So if you're not signed up yet, it's really simple. Okay, you can just go to fbjumpstart.org. So if you don't have that, I would write that down in your notes, fbjumpstart.org. And if you're already on it, hey, that's great. I would write it down anyways, because you might have another assistant manager in training at some point this summer that you need to teach this to, and you'll be able to give them that link as well. The next thing that I do want to jump into for you guys, those are just some quick tips, but I did want to go over the Facebook Jumpstart group that we actually have. So for those of you who don't know about it, there is actually, you can just go on to Facebook and search for the Facebook Jumpstart group, and it shouldn't take this long to load, but everything's on here. And what's cool is they have it broken down into tabs that they didn't have last year. So you can click on the discussion area, and there's people out there that are experiencing problems from people messaging them. And if you're a girl, we're all human, so you might get some people who are hitting on you, or maybe if you're a guy, and you might get that too, but ways to handle that. Or for people who are wanting to help you, or you're wondering, how do I get people to help me? All kinds of things like that are on here. And then it even lets you connect with different members that are in the group throughout the nation with Vector. So it also helps you grow your network too. In addition to the discussion, there's the units tab, and that's where all of your audios and things like that are. So being able to go through these, and it'll tell you exactly which things you're going to be going into. And you do want to go through them one step at a time. If you're an assistant manager, I would definitely get with your manager first, so they can kind of guide you on what they want you to do. But you can go through these, and you can actually be able to do the program on a regular routine, but it has to be in your schedule for it to get done. And then, of course, I'm not going to go through each of these, but these are self-explanatory, just different announcements, new programs, scripts, things like that they promote as well. Okay, 1 second. I'll get you some water, okay? So that is a little bit about the Facebook Jumpstart website and the page there. So the next thing that I do want to go over for you guys is actually the mass add and delete sheet. So if you have that, I would definitely pull it out. This is actually really cool. I don't really know if I'm supposed to do this or not, but during summer kickoff, I actually decided to take a little bit of advice and create this document. So I created this, let's see, okay, here it is right here. It's really super simple, okay? I actually went last night and I created a short link for it. Can everyone see? Can you see my page okay? I need to make it a little bigger. All right, sweet. So you can go to tinyurl.com/FBJ toolkit. And what's really cool about that is, I'm going to show you here in a second, but it's a small extension that you can just add to where your search bar is. So you click on the link, it'll open up. It's really simple. Just follow the easy installation instructions. The next thing you want to do whenever you're adding, doing the mass add, is first you want to open Facebook. So I'm going to stop the share for here just a second, and I'm going to go back to my Facebook page, and I'm just going to walk you guys through it since you already have the sheet here. So first you go to your Facebook page. Let's say you're on your very home screen, and there's this little area over here to the left that says Explore, and you can click on the friends list area right here. Now, when you get to this friends list area, you should already have all of your groups broken down. Something I noticed, by the way, pro tip that I just noticed from Kickoff, when you go in to your own profile and you go to the About section and you add the schools and stuff on there, when you start friending people that are from those schools, it'll automatically create these smart lists for you and add them into these lists. I didn't create any of these lists down here, but now anyone I add that has that school, it automatically puts them in that list for me. And if I had known that back then, I wouldn't have had to create all these lists for these people. But anyways, back to the mass add sheet. So you go to Facebook, go to Explore, go to your friends list, and you go to whatever area. Let's start with Stillwater School, right? So that's my main one. So we'll just do Caitlin, for instance, right? So you go to Caitlin's profile and you click friends. Now, when you click friends, you got to click on the high school filter, and it'll tell you how many people she has in that area, how many friends she went to school with, right? So now if you look on the sheet that I gave you, you want to copy and paste the URL. Now, you don't want to copy and paste the whole thing like I've done here, but you want to copy and paste just this back part after the .com. So hopefully I made it simple enough on the sheet where you can understand that what I'm saying, but this is the only part of the URL that you need to copy. Do you see this little TFF over here? Look at that. It says Toolkit for Facebook. So when you download the toolkit, it's just going to be right over here. So all you do is you click it. It's going to, bam, it's going to open up this window for you. The fourth one down, click Start the Tool, paste the link that you just did, and click Start. Now a new window is going to open. And if you just follow the sheet I gave you, it's really super simple. I know when you learn something new, it seems really confusing, but it's actually super simple. So this will load here in just a second. It's probably because I have so many windows open. But what's going to happen is this window you see here is going to open for you. Now, something I always double check is this right here. So I'm going to move this box up just a little bit here. Now, if you scroll down here, you can see these names of their friends behind them. Sometimes down here, there'll be a blue button that says See All. If you don't click that button, it's not going to request all of the ones. So you got to click See All and then recopy that URL. But let's just do this one for example. So what you do is you change the seconds, you enable the auto scroll down, enable the auto press confirm option, and then enable the auto press close, and then start the algorithm. And then look, it's automatically scrolling down the page for you, and it's automatically adding those people. So now you can just go back to your group, find the next person that you're going to do, and then do it again. So it's a really easy way for you to be able to send a ton of friend requests at once, and you can have multiple windows open and be able to do this multiple times. What I typically do is I don't do this for anyone that has less than 100 people. So if they have less than 100 people, I'm just going to manually send them myself kind of while I'm waiting. But you can go through again, and you can paste this back half of the URL. Now, the cool thing is you already have this toolkit open, so you don't need to reopen another window. But you just click here, start the add friends, paste it in there, start the tool. And then whenever your page loads, by the way, whenever you're done, this page here will tell you there's no more. You click OK, and then bam, you just close your window. So that's the mass add, and it's really super simple once you start to get the hang of it. So play around with it. If you like it, great. If you don't like it, you can do that 2.5 page long URL. But really quick, I'm glad I found one. You see how right here it says see all? So it's not accessing all of their friends from that high school. So you're going to have to click the see all button, and it's going to actually refresh the whole page, which takes away that smaller window. So then you just repaste it. That's it. So again, you just click the see all, and then you just repaste it back into the toolkit, and then boom, bada bing, done. So the next thing I want to teach you is the mass delete, and it's really, really simple. In fact, you don't even need your Facebook window open. So you don't have to close it, but you could close the Facebook window if you needed to, and then you can just open your toolkit by clicking the blue box there. But see where it's like the 7th option down, I think is what it says on your sheet. But where it says cancel pending friend requests, just click that button, and a new window is automatically going to open, and it's going to have all of the friend requests automatically. It's going to log into your Facebook for you. All of the friend requests you have sent out, it's going to have all of them. So notice I'm just scrolling down just to show you guys that it does load every single one of them. And then you can change the interval time, select for it to scroll down for you, and then bam. Boom, bada bing. So now while you're doing that, you can go back and do your PR calls, or you can go back and, I don't know, do your PC. I don't really know what you could be doing in exchange for this time, but you guys get the idea that this literally just does it for you. You don't have to do anything. Now, here's a pro tip. I don't recommend sending friend requests while you're canceling friend requests. Like, that's a little redundant there. So do one and then do the other, and then you should be good to go. I recommend deleting first and then resending, which would probably make sense. Now, one other thing for your Google form, you see how long this link is? You don't want that link. So first tip, just make sure when you have your Google form created that you go and shorten the link. Mine is tiny.cc/work now. But when you go here, you want to make sure you have their first and last name, so you know that, their email and their cell phone, so you can text them and email them directions. You want to know who they're recommended by, so maybe you can give somebody PR credit. Like I'll show you this one kid, for example. I'll let this page load here in just a second. But you also want to know what high school they're from and what college that they're at, and of course if they're 18 or not. Now that's just what they fill out, but I just wanted to show you guys what I have on mine. It's probably the same thing you have on yours if you've had one of these created already. So on mine, it shows you exactly when they applied, what time of day it was, down to the second. It tells you their name. Now, I've had some people like this kid right here, Sean, who does not include his cell phone number. So I have this really nice email, and it says, "Greetings. You filled out an application online on Facebook, and unfortunately, you either forgot to put your number or chose not to. However, unfortunately, we need this to go further with the application process, so please respond back with that number." Every single person I've sent that to, besides Sean at this point, has given me their number, and Portia, it looks like. So if you just focus on that, you'll be good. But anyways, so what I still use Google Voice. I don't know if any of you have ever used that, but if you're like, I don't want to be giving my phone number out a ton, then you can use Google Voice. It's completely free. But you can easily go through here, and this is what I use to contact everyone when I'm doing PR texts, when I'm doing PR calls. It makes it for a really great way so people aren't calling my personal cell later on during the day. But that is the Facebook Jumpstart program. So again, it's a really great way for you to build your social network. I already have my first Facebook Jumpstart person coming into training this week, tomorrow. I just called him earlier and confirmed him up for training. So I'm really excited about that as well. And then the last thing that I wanted to go over with you guys was just the PR name collection. So the social media thing, whenever you get into your training, first off, you have to nail your approach, the collection approach. And what I did was I took Brian Hurlman's talk and I kind of just made an outline of it, and I can email this over to Nick. But again, just like Kathy said at Summer Kickoff, it's not about what you're saying, but it's about the delivery. I didn't take anything out. I didn't add anything in. I just made it look fancy, but it's the same thing that Brian says. But after this, something else I added into it, was a smaller stump speech. And if you guys want to jot this down, you definitely can. And I'll just kind of go over it really quickly here. But the first thing that I say to my training group is, how many of you have a lot of people in your phone? And, people raise their hand. Okay, cool. How many of you have a lot of social media followers? Sweet. People raise their hand. Then I'm like, how many of you don't have a lot of people in your phone, but do have a lot of social media followers? Awesome. How many of you do have a lot of people in your phone, but don't have a lot of social media followers? Sweet. What's great about all four of you? All of you have people that you have access to. And then the best part about it, guys, is that we have a sweet program for those of you who maybe felt like you got a little gypped in the PR program we just went through. I'm going to make it even better for you. Now, who knows someone who, maybe wishes that you had their number, but you just don't have the courage to get their number through social media? And you're like, oh my God, if we only had an app where you could put social media into it or a link, well, guess what? You are the link. You're the link. So here's what we're going to do. And then you literally just go over the Fast Start program that Nick just talked about earlier, the upgrading the Fast Start program. And then you just go through that word for word. You can let Drew do it, or you can do it yourself as well. But just that small little, plug in about giving everyone the same chance and reminding them that, hey, I know some of you in here don't have this. I know some of you don't have this, but you all have the same access to it. It's going to make it a really great opportunity for your whole team to feel like everybody is a part of it as well. But other than that, guys, that's kind of all I had. Just a quick little info session on that and the importance of having your social media plug in your training and Facebook Jumpstart. So make sure you're sending your 50. If you're not tracking them, make sure you track them. I track every time I send my 50. I use good old paper and pen. And so that way I can track how many I've sent, how many people are on my Google form, how many I actually launch, and then it'll give me a good idea for next summer. So if you're not thinking about Facebook Jumpstart for 2020, you need to, because it's starting now. All right, sweet. Thanks.
A round of applause. Very nice work. Awesome. Boom, bada, bam. Boom, bada, bing. I don't know if there's two variations. I love that. Bing, yeah, there's like a lot, right? It's like the 4 variations of do you have a social media and no numbers. Very, very quality. And it's so impressive to see how far you've come with all of that stuff. Thank you for your delivery. Thank you for the walkthrough. The best part is that is all on recording. And as of later tonight or tomorrow morning, it will be uploaded to YouTube. So for those of you who are watching this later, or those of you who are aggressively taking notes and not able to get it all down, you can pause him. You can hear him say boom, bada, bang, or you can role play that with him. It'll be great. I do want to do a quick screen share. Great stuff, by the way, Tyler. One thing I want to talk about real quick that he mentioned for the Google form, this will help you prevent having any more Brock issues, right, is make sure that there's 2 questions, right? Hey, what is your cell phone? And they can input that. And then on the next one, what is your email? And they can input that. And what that does is you can remake those required questions. They can't submit the form until both are filled out. Does that make sense? And then you don't have to have that email and go through that. The beautiful thing about Google Forms is you can frequently and anytime update them. So that's something you could do today, Tyler, and it will just add an extra column. That way you don't have any more Brocks or any more emails that you have to send out. We want to do our best to prevent and eliminate any busy work. Cool. Second big thing is about the Snapchat. This was also emailed out. I don't have it printed yet, but I will be printing it shortly, and I can share it with you guys, district managers. You already have this in your email, but it's about the Day 2 Snapchat PR collection, right? And assistant managers, I know that we are in a position where we're going to have more AMs than actual managers this summer, which is always the case. That should be we should be shooting for. But one of the things I want to share with all of you is Andrew Nickerson's Snapchat PR collection conversion. So I'm going to drag this over real quick. You guys can check this out. And assistant managers, you really need to see this because it is so critical that you realize culture does not come from the manager. Culture comes from the team. Culture comes from the stop-bys. Culture comes from the testimonials and the introductions. Culture comes from the support. And they need to be seeing a lot more than just the manager over the course of the 2 days, and certainly more than just the videos, right? So the best way that you can support your team is to, A, stop by and introduce yourself on day one of training, okay? And B, make sure that you're there for the PR name collection section of the second day of training, right? So that would be in the summer schedule of Thursday and Friday to really make that happen. So let me walk you through this. This is the Stay 2 Snapchat PR collection. It says Snapchat PR collection is training, acts as an additional layer for the PR talk, and driving big name collection should not replace any current collection methods, but be additive to your program. If done properly, can produce just as many, if not more, messages sent in conversion to the interview. And you know what I'm finding is I'm finding that people respond quicker to Snapchat now than text. I'm looking at people that now are treating text as if it's email, right? Where email just kind of stacks up and they're like, shit, I lost that game. Let it go to hell, right? And then what they do is they look at text, right? And that was like a year ago. But now texts come in and they're like, don't want to check that one. Or they check it just to get the icon gone, but they don't reply. But with Snapchat, the moment a Snapchat pops up on the push feed, dude, let me check that. What is that? Ooh, that could be cool, right? Yeah. Snapchat is the biggest distractor and the biggest way to engage somebody and get them to respond. So here's the reality, right? We could make a lot of progress with this. And it says preparation. Plan enough time at the end of the PR talk for reps to send Snapchats as well as upload to the app. Usually only takes additional 10 to 15 minutes. Have a background or designated phone area for your PR app, right? You could do paychecks and you could have a whole paycheck wall with just freaking money, right? You could also get a backdrop of Vector and USA Today. Great place to work. That's another thing, right? You could do the BMW. I mean, there's a lot of options, but if you don't have a section of your room that is set up for visuals of like photos, Instagram recognition, make one, right? And I would recommend doing that near the front of the room so you can do, you can bring people up, recognizing the team meeting, take a photo right there, and you don't have to adjust around the room. All right, that being said, it says explanation and execution. After you get reps started on the PR app, raise your hand. And if you have a ton of people on Snapchat that aren't in your contacts, 80% raises their hand, just like Tyler said. Cool. Go ahead and work on the app, and I'll show you how you can send it to people on Snap as well. Once they're done with the app, take a photo of them in the designated photo area and type up the caption for them and attach their PR link to the Snap. So some people know how to do this. Most people don't. This is why we need so much help. I think about last summer, we had 48 launch in 1 week, week 1 of June. There's no way I can sit here with 48 people. I remember Bailey and I being in there, and we were like running around with the chickens our head cut off, like trying to get them sample kits and blue books made and folders and rec binders and making sure that we were doing the PR app. I remember that one training class, I think with 48 people, we had like 3,000 names referred. It was ridiculous. It was definitely over 2, and maybe I'm exaggerating, but it was absurd. And we didn't even do social media. We didn't even do Snapchat. We had 59 show up to day 1, 48 people launched. That is a very effective way to dominate and crush it. What's up, buddy? Congrats on your 3K promotion. Yeah, keep up the hard work. Huh? Parker. Oh, my bad. All right, you both are ballers. I like that. And it's on recording. Anyway, congratulations in the future, Brett, when you hit your 3K promotion. All right, you're welcome. Glad that was on recording. Anyway, that being said, you give them the link, you teach them to swipe up, and then you say, cool, let's go ahead and listen. This is really important. Let's start sending. Don't just put it on your story because most people won't what? See it. So let's go through and select anyone that's under 25 and send individually. You can post on your story as well, just in case they accidentally close a Snap. We'll go ahead and count the amount you send on Snap and count it towards the prizes. Did you hear that? We'll go ahead and count it. And what does that mean? They're getting double texted and double, right, where their name's getting uploaded, but they're also getting the swipe up. Okay? But think about the amount of attention. Think about the multiple different brands. Think about them saying, oh, I think I saw that on Snapchat, and then I also got a text with a link. I think about Drew's 3X rule. He says that people have to hear things 3 times in order to what? Actually do it. So if they hear the first time in training, if they hear the first time from a link that we send through Conveyor, if they hear the second time through a Snapchat and they hear the third time with somebody like, an AM giving them a call, what are the likelihood that that's going to improve our, conversion rate when we're making our PR calls throughout the blitz days? You with me on that? So I'm fine with giving them that extra credit, because what are we doing? We're giving them a free red table knife. Sweet. They're going to sell more stuff. We're giving them a free steak knife. Sweet. They're going to sell more big sets. Does that make sense? So we're setting this up to make sure that there's no way to lose. We're setting this up to make sure that there's no way to lose. I hope we're ready for doubling our recruits, doubling our sales, and being a dominant division, never looking back. Fair enough? That being said, I have another screen to share. Get rid of that one. And that is something I forgot to share earlier. So I'm going to backtrack just a bit with a couple of these pages. The first one is our territory map. Managers, especially assistants, those of you not running offices, you are being targeted, whether you like it or not, and I fully expect you to run an office or at least consider it for next year. That being said, have you picked out your territory, or at least your top 3? Every one of these dots is a potential territory, and I believe there are territories up around Woodward, out in Guyman, okay? I mean, here's the reality, right? We've had offices in 20,000 person population areas before, including long distances, and those offices have done $150,000 to $200,000 bucks. So here's the list. Where do you want to go? Where do you want to run an office? And what it's going to be based on is skills, sales, and savings. So those of you who are in person, you can take one and pass it around. Those of you who are not in person, ask your manager to print one of these. I've already emailed it out, and you guys can check that out as well. But the reality is that you'd be foolish to not run a branch. You'd be foolish to not consider, right, giving yourself a shot at building your resume, no matter what you're going into, right? And we can do more testimonials about that later, but for now, we'll keep it at that. That being said, I also did not have the PR prize levels memorized, so I did I was off by a little bit, but it's almost identical. Here it is. This is what we'll be promoting. 3 on the team, $250 in sales to qualify, AirPods, Ray-Bans, or $150 spa gift card, or I'll give you $150 to a concert. I mean, basically it's a $150 experience. Does that make sense? Whatever you want. Okay, cool. 6, which is lower than 7. Okay, so I made 2 errors. One I over-exaggerated, one I under, but whatever. 6, okay, check it out, is the gourmet set, or a K-Bar 2-pack, or a Nordstrom business attire shopping spree for $150. Nordstrom rack, whatever you want to do, we'll pay for it. Okay, 10 on the team is the limo night out. And I did throw this one a little bit too big, but 20 on the team is a $1,000 Airbnb getaway, not $1,500 bucks. But I'll tell you, the money that you've made by that point, oh yeah, all right, cool. It's just more of your money you're spending. So anyway, I hope that helps you. Again, these are emailed out. We'll print them. We'll show them off. But this is going to be a big PR generator for our squad and for our team as we move into the upcoming summer. All right, so I hope that helps, and let's move into the next big thing. Are there any questions for Tyler before we do? Concerns about Facebook messaging, things that didn't make sense? All right, well, let's wrap up. We've got our last section, 30 more minutes. I told you this was going to be fire content, and it certainly is, in my opinion, so far. The summer certainly starts now, and we need to be very intense and engaged with the direction that we are taking it and how we are going to be helping out with all of that. So what I'm going to do now is go through this document. I've also emailed this one out. This is from Kathy Kristen, so you guys can check it out. And this is the document about 10 keys to rocking your PR program. And I'm going to open this up and share the screen. What I want to talk about is the importance of doing these 10 things. And it's interesting because 3 years ago, before Kathy was writing this out, I had 10 non-negotiables for recruiting every week. And almost all of these things were on it. It's one of those reminders that it worked so good you stopped doing it, right? So I just want to make sure we're all on the same page. And no matter what title or role you have, it is your responsibility to help your office create a social media PR recruiting culture. And this is how it goes down. So let's review. Let's look through this, right? Number 1, you have to crush your PR talking training. This is not just the manager. This is the staff. This is the key staff. This is your number 1 team builder being there. This is set up prior to that. So here's some notes you can write down about that. Number 1, if you're an AM, you've got to mention recommending friends during your introduction to training. If you're an AM and you're talking about, right, an interview and you're second manning, you've got to be in that interview and you've got to be talking about how fun it is to be on the team. You've got to be talking about how we just work with a ton of friends. It's the coolest social place to be this summer. There's no cooler place to work. And the reason why is because we get to kick it with all of our buddies and we get paid to do it. It doesn't even feel like work. You need to have a stump speech for that. When you introduce yourself, you need to be talking, right? And managers, you should be asking the question, how many friends did you recommend? Oh, everybody? Why'd you recommend everybody? Because it's the coolest job. Because why not? Because even if they're not interested, so what? At least they know about it. There needs to be testimonial and culture and proof about what that feels and what that looks like. Make sense? Okay. In addition to that, there needs to be help on the second day. And on day one, managers, write this down. Part of your assignments and training needs to be, hey guys, one of your assignments tonight is when you go home, sync all your contacts. Raise your hand if you just got a new phone recently. Raise your hand if you don't have a lot of contacts. Okay. Tomorrow, we're going to give you an opportunity to recommend a ton of friends and win free Cutco. We're going to give you an opportunity to recommend friends and win free other things. Who likes to travel? You might want to sync your contacts. I can't tell you about it yet, but I can tell you that if you don't have your contacts synced, you're going to regret it. You can always do it later, but you won't be eligible for all the prizes, so make that happen tonight. There needs to be that build-up, that setup prior to it. Otherwise, when you execute, it doesn't work as well. Let's move on to number 2. Know what names you want to keep. You got to make sure that you do what I call the top 10. Here's my PR program in its simplicity during training name collection. Step 1, stump speech. Step 2, PR name collection through the app. Step 3, and this is before they even do social media, top 10 list. And I'm going to have a document that I hand to them. It's just like the top 5 list, except it's got 10 lines and it's a full sheet. Excuse me. And here's what I'm going to say. Excuse me. Here's what I'm going to say to everybody. Hey guys, if you were a talent scout, if you were the coach, if you were me, knowing your friend base, who would be the 10 people, not that need a job most, but the 10 people that would dominate a job like this the most? Whether it's because of their connections, their network, maybe it's because of their personality. I don't care if they have a job already. Who are the people that would rip up a job like this? Not who's most available, not who needs a job, not who would really want the money. Who do you know that's in a position because of their character traits or their network that could crush a job like this? If you were to place a bet on the 10 people who would be the best at doing this job, I want you to write their names and numbers down. I know you already gave me those names and numbers during training, but I want to know your top 10. And I'm going to have them fill it out on a sheet of paper. And here's why. I have 100% of my training class in front of me on day 2. The likelihood that I have 100% again on advanced training is very low. And when I get to advanced training, I want to be able to look through their list, highlight the ones we've already called, booked, or have said no, look at their top 10 sheet and say, all the ones on your top 10 that we haven't called yet, let's go ahead and call, and we're going to do alley-oop switch. And then the last part of that is my social media message, the Snapchat direct message. Does that make sense? Okay, cool. So that's my program. I would recommend using it as well. When you scrub dupes and when you launch training, it says hold back your top 150, 200 people. I wouldn't recommend holding them back. I would recommend sending everything to conveyor. What's the loss? We run an interview for a reason. And if they come into the interview and we don't think they're the right person, sweet, we can let them know then. But at least let them know that we have jobs available. And what's the harm done in sending them a conveyor message and then following up the next day with a phone call? It's actually better because now they've seen the message, they've gotten some response in contact. If they didn't fill it out, we call them. You with me on that? Okay. I highly recommend, though, still knowing who the 150 to 200 are so you can be established with following up with them during your blitz days. So number 3, have helper manage duplicates and send proper names to conveyor. This is a non-negotiable. This doesn't happen immediately after training. I want you to cross out the word after, and I want you to write what? During. The moment names are collected, I've got somebody in my office because I'm too engaged with running training that's in the back managing duplicates, scrubbing out all the extras, and sending the names to conveyor. And when they send them, they give me the thumbs up and the green light, and I pause in training, I pause the videos, and I say, hey guys, I just want to let you know that I'm in a position right now where we just are about to send your contacts. Your phones are going to blow up. And is that a good or a bad thing? It's a great thing. Even if it blows up with weird responses, that means they're curious and interested. But here's the deal. What's a bad thing is being distracted by that. So as your phones blow up, I want you to put them off to the side. I want you to put them away. Don't look at them. We'll take time later during a break to check them out. Does that sound fair? If you catch you looking at your phone for the next 30 minutes or an hour, don't do it. Deal? All right. And then an hour before, we're going to go onto their phones to log into their Vector Connect. I'm going to build in 5 minutes during that time to say, hey guys, check out your phones. Oh, so what kind of response are we getting? And I'm going to have my whole front row of all my 3-star ass kickers, and they're going to look at me and they're going to say, dude, like 3 of my friends already won it. 2 of my friends already got interviews. 1 of my friends is coming in today. Boom, bada, bing, right? That's what's going to happen. And then the theory and the mindset behind our whole team is, wow, there are a lot of people that need jobs out there. And they're going to be so much more confident in responding the right way after they leave training. But if that doesn't happen during training, then they don't have your confidence and those positive testimonials, which means they're not as likely. Make sense? Okay. So you've got to make sure that gets done during training. Number 4, you text your top 150 names by Sunday. I would recommend doing that on Saturday. I don't have the summer schedule pulled up. I know that Tyler, you emailed me and said, can I have the branch schedule? It's in the district schedule underneath a different tab. Check it out. But here's the reality, right? In every single text, right? Every single schedule, we have a blitz day on Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. I'm not saying that as an assistant manager, you need to be there for all 4 blitz days, but I am saying that you should I recommend being there for at least a couple of them, and certainly on a Saturday, because Saturday is where the new week begins. Really, it's Friday, but we're running training on Friday and we're sending the conveyor, so Saturday is where we hit it. So you make sure you do that, and make sure that if you have extra callers, they're helping you do that as well. Number 5, call anybody who does not say no and book them. It's easy enough, right? Number 6, PR calling blitz, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, and Tuesday. Make sure you write Tuesday into that, right? In our offices, we'll be running our Monday advanced training. On advanced training 1, this is why Sunday night is so critical to confirm people for advanced training. District managers, I hope you're listening. I had the conversation with Jerry recently, and I said, how much time and energy and effort and scripting do we put in to confirming people to training? By the way, we put in that effort with 0 promise that they're going to show up to training. But you put in a lot of time and energy, don't you? We even have a script. How much time last week did you put into confirming people for advanced training 1? Or to advanced training 2? Or to advanced training 3? Or a team meeting? Or the division meeting tonight? Those are people already on your team. Those are people that already have a sample kit and a rep number, and they can actually make you money like that. We're not putting in the same amount of effort. They're not confirmed until they show up. Sunday night, there needs to be a PDI section where your best managers are confirming everybody verbally over a phone call for advanced training on Monday. Because we know that every event that a rep misses, they're 50% more likely to quit. So if we assume that they leave training at 100% commitment and they miss advanced training, they just went to 50. And if they miss advanced training 2, their PC or their team meeting, they went to 25. And you can see how quickly a rep goes from, I can't wait to crush it this summer and make a ton of money, to, I need another job, this one wasn't right for me. That doesn't happen if they're showing up to events. During that advanced training, let's talk about what happens. We focus on AT1 boost. Who's already got people set? How many of your friends did you recommend? Hey, Kinsey, thanks so much. I know you won your free red table knife and your free steak knife. You recommended 250 people. But I just want to share with you that out of those 250 people, we've only had a total of 15 of them click the link. And out of those 15, we've had 5 of them apply, 2 have been accepted. I'm really excited about that. But moving back to this, if you recommended 250 and only 15 have clicked the link, that means 235 people still don't even know if they won it or not. Isn't that crazy? Now, I bet you it wasn't because they're not interested. I mean, have you been getting texts from 235 people saying, like, you're a scam, go away? No, it's just that they were busy or they got distracted, they forgot about it, right? They live lives. So what I want to do is I want to work on that 235 people, and I want to think about who's the best to call on that list. Just for you, we actually had Claire, our assistant manager last night. She went through all of our lists. And the top 10 that you wrote out for us, here it is. These would be the people that you thought would be the best. If you want to change the names, that's fine. But I want to look at these and say 2 of them have already applied. So you were right. The other 8 we need. So we're going to give an opportunity to get guaranteed bonus days on your fast start. How would you like to have a 12 or 14-day fast start instead of 10? Would you like that? Okay, here's what we're going to do. We've got a script. It's already made for you. You just got to call your friends, read the script. It's really simple, and pass the phone off to me or one of the managers. We'll do the rest for you. But the likelihood of them answering when we text them or call them, it's pretty low because they don't know our number. If you call them, it's pretty high. We're going to double tap all of these friends, and after you're done, we'll give you the rest of the time to book more demos, get 5 ahead, and crush your fast start. Deal? Here's the script. It's really simple. Hey, what's up, Susan? I don't know if you know Susan. It's Nick. It's Kinsey. Hey, I'm at my office right now. I'm really busy, so I don't have too much time. But my manager said we have a few last positions to fill, and I mentioned you might be somebody looking to make some money. It's an $18 starting pay. You don't have to have any experience, and he's a really cool guy, and it's a great flexible job around whatever else you have going on. Here, let me have you talk to him. Can you handle that for me, Kizzy? All right, great. Who do you want to call first? And this is part of that last hour. Right. And by the way, I role played that, but she's like, I'm ready, dude. Let's go. If I can have my fast start again. So you're going to role play that. All right, back into this, right? Reps text their friends good luck who has interviews. Snapchat private messages, watch the video to dominate, and reps text their top 5 to 10 friends for an alley-oop. You can call as well. Number 8, PC or first team meeting, whichever is first. Check the no-shows to interviews with the rep. Check the rep with no-shows and have them send out this text to all of their no-shows. This takes a lot of coordinating. This takes a lot of time at night, especially for those of you going after big recruiting, but it's totally worth it. Think about your efficiency gains. Think about the legitimacy. Think about the fact that these people are seeing it over and over and over again, and they see how persistent we are. Plus, what does that do for our culture if they do start with us? It teaches them that we're persistent. We're persistent with getting them on the team, so we're just as persistent with tracking down clients, and booking up demos, and crushing our sales reports. It's culture. Team meeting. Always have the sample social post up. Follow up with the responses from the last post in the message. And during the phone jam, here's what I would write down under number 9. The rule of our organization is you're either calling to book demos or you're calling to get friends on the team. But no matter what, during a phone jam, you're always what? I want you to write down this phrase. If you haven't heard it before, it's called the ABCs of Vector. ABCs stands for always be calling. ABCs, ABCs, ABCs. Okay? Yeah, I know. CPR, ABCs is all the same stuff, right? Okay. Follow up with the responses from the last message. And the last one, number 10, is the Team Builder PC. Tie in your rabbit, why you want to meet with them, what you're looking for, what's in it for them. And managers, reach out to your past reps. I was telling Bailey that on Tuesday I went to my wife's soccer game because I still have my Achilles injury and I can't play yet. And one of the guys that was walking by was a kid named Tevin McDaniel. If that name doesn't ring a bell, he's a guy that was recommended, and get this is why you send all names to conveyor, by a friend who he had met in college in Colorado, and that friend was originally from San Diego. 2 summers ago, when Bailey ran his first training, Tevin was in that training and went to one of our #1 private schools called Heritage Hall. Here's how it broke down. The manager in San Diego asked for all names, doesn't matter where they live, because we have 500 offices nationwide. Tevin said, cool, I'll upload them all. That manager sent them all to conveyor. That link for Tevin got recommended to Oklahoma City, where Tevin's from, and came in for an interview with our office. Tevin started out of Bailey's training class with video training, and guess what happened? He sold $15,000 for his fast start, and he's still our #1 fast starter in the state since I've taken over, and #2 overall. And you know why? Because some person was confident enough to recommend him from all the way over in San Diego. Everybody with me on that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so here's the reality, right? We need this happening in every single office, and we need to talk about these team builders. And I saw him at the soccer game. He recognized me. He said, hey, Nick, how you been? And then he mentioned, I didn't even say anything, I'm not done with Cutco. I still have plans to sell more and make more money. I said, sweet man, I've really missed you. Let me take you out to lunch. I literally just got a text, and he said, what's your schedule look like next week? Guess what I'm doing with him? Team Builder PC. Everybody who is in your network has value to add to your organization, whether it's through, right, selling more Cutco or getting more friends on the team. Find a way to make it work. Fair enough? So I hope that review was helpful. I hope that review gave you some things to chew on and think about, and I hope that you're a little bit more intentional now about how big this summer can be. Another recommendation that's not on that list is booking up a PR for every PC they have. My recommendation to you is to have some standards. When a PC happens, 30 minutes of instruction, and another 30 minutes of booking demos and booking friends. And if every PC we run, they book another friend for an interview, think about how many people are going to be winning things like AirPods, Ray-Bans, spa gift cards, right? Gourmet sets, 2K bar packs, limo nights, and a $1,000 Airbnb experience.
So if you just bought me a bunch of chocolate, I think I'd be okay.
Chocolate's free. That's my snack bar in the back. Feel free to dig in anytime you want. That being said,
There's not chocolate.
it's summer, baby. I haven't started. Wait until Friday or Tuesday. All right. So next thing that I want to talk about is a couple of keys when it comes to your PR calling. Okay. Please write down when it comes to PR calling. I don't have a handout for this. When you're doing PR calling, here's what I recommend doing. Step one, yes, follow the script. But here are my 3 keys. 10% of your PR call should be
Report.
explaining the job.
Oops.
10% of your PR call should be explaining the job. 80% of your PR call should be building rapport and making a connection. If you don't care what the job is, honestly, they really don't even care about the pay. Most people don't work these days for the money because mom and dad are taking care of most of their bills anyway.
Okay.
The last 10% is the directions. I mean, you're like, that's me.
And he's looking at you as that too.
So you guys need to make sure that you think about that when it comes to it, right? 10-80-10. 10% is explaining the job. 80% is building a relationship and making a connection. And the last 10% is making sure you give directions and build confidence in why they should show up. There's an article. I don't remember the article. I wish I did. But it was a study. And they did a query and found that the top 5 things that millennials want in a job are in the following list. Are you ready?
Yes.
Number 1, quality people. Millennials now want quality people to work with more than anything else in a job. You know what number 2 is?
Money.
Challenge.
Ah,
They want something that's going to help them grow. They want something that's going to force them outside their comfort zone and get them to learn. Challenge. Who wants to show up to a boring job every day? How many people do you know that do and they absolutely hate it? Number 3 thing that people want is an opportunity to move up. They don't want the dead-end job. They don't want to work somewhere that's got no future. Number 4 is they want growth or experience, however you want to look at it that way. And number 5 and the 5th one is money. So let's go through that checklist. Do we have quality people? Well, it's up to you to decide, but I think that we're pretty good at staffing our offices with great people, and Vector's a good filter for advancement. Do we have a challenging job? Yes or yes? Do we have opportunities to advance?
Yes.
Do we help people grow?
Yes.
And do we have an opportunity to make a lot of money? My point is this: when you're making these PR calls, are you talking just about the pay, or are you talking about that checklist of 5 things? Hey, Jerry, I just wanted to call you. Bailey told me a lot of great things about you. I'm busy right now in between meetings, so I don't have a lot of time to talk. But I just wanted to give you a quick overview of what we do. We have a championship organization with a ton of quality people. The job can be challenging for sure, but it certainly is an opportunity where you can advance and move up. And there's many ways that you can grow personally, professionally, and financially. Not to mention, our starting pay is $18, and we have commissions on top of that. So I'd love to have you come in. By the way, that's not in a script, but it's on recording. Somebody should script that out. That sounded pretty solid. My point is this: what are you doing to put on the end of the hook? You can go fishing with no bait and you're not going to win. You go fishing with bait, you catch more fish. You go fishing with the best bait and it doesn't take long to reel one in. What bait are you using? I hate that analogy because I don't want to think that we're baiting people into this thing, right? We're a pretty awesome job, but it worked out pretty well. That being said, let's go ahead and wrap up our conversation about PR recruiting and recruiting in general. This was a document and handout that I don't think any of you got from Fred Glazier. Assistant managers, everybody here. I don't have an actual copy of it because Fred gave it to us from corporate and it was during a lunch. But I would recommend making sure that this checklist is in alignment with your action steps over the next week. Step 1, have you checked your helpful hints? Have you checked your address on both Apple Maps and Google Maps? And I'm not saying when you type it in, I'm saying when you text your address to somebody with an Apple phone and they click it, does the pin go to your front door? Same thing with an Android phone and a Google one. If it doesn't, let me know immediately. And in alignment with that is your helpful hints that are in Vector Live. You can go on to Vector Live, you can edit those, but they need to be clear, they need to be proper, they need to be simple. We don't need any typed out written directions street by street because everybody uses GPS these days. And the reality is that all they really need is just a really quality photo with how to find your front door. Number 2, bulk interview creation. The region just did this yesterday. Managers, go into your Vector Live interview system. Every interview for the entire summer has already been put in. Many of those interviews are, at least in the district and pilot offices, 19 interviews a week. Over the course of the next 2 weeks, we don't want to run 19 interviews. But when we get to gold period, we certainly should. My recommendation to you is to make sure you scale it up, set your official summer schedule with who's running what interviews, and then have somebody take the time to change every interview name, right, and make sure it's up to date. In alignment with that, during your staff meeting every week, you should plan in detail the next 2 weeks and overview the next 1 month or 2 months. Does that make sense? Number 3, okay, also, I already sent that in by Monday, but don't forget, and here's the deal. If you didn't know this, the week before kickoff nationwide, there were 1,100 people who applied for the job but could not be scheduled for an interview because the office didn't have interview times in Vector Live. Yikes. We don't want to be any of those people in our organization, right? Okay, cool. Next one, if you have any issues with this, I need you to write down an email. If you have issues with your helpful hints, your video, whatever, Susie Payne at National. The email is spayne, which is SPAINE @cutco.com. Shoot her an email. She can help you out, or so can I. Just so you know, text to schedule, whether it's a PR or an IAP or mailer, on average gets about a 32 to 33% show to interviews. This summer, there needs to be a system in place for somebody to be calling all interview no-shows to make sure that we build that efficiency and we get that show percentage up. It can only help you, not hurt you, because it's extra credit. You only get damaged with that one time if they no-show. So reschedules, cancellations, no-shows are worth calling. Number 3, PRs. We already talked about this, but you need to make sure that you send all your PRs immediately during training and you follow up with them before advanced training. Urgency matters. Don't forget, if you hold back your top slice number and they don't end up getting a text personally from you by Sunday, there needs to be something in Sunday that says, any names that didn't get sent to conveyor that were held back, I'm going to send any that I didn't text by Sunday night. So it's kind of a 2-tier texting, right? Or sending to conveyor. Once during training and another section in your Sunday night agenda. Also, there's a new text now in Vector Live that sends automatically to reps when the names are sent to text to schedule that has an example of verbiage of how to respond to their friends. You don't even have to send it to them anymore. The moment you start sending their names to conveyor, they're getting a text from our system that says, hey, we just sent your names to conveyor. Here's how we are going to handle it. And if they have any questions, here's how to follow up. The PR app report is key for a DVM. It's key for a DM. It's key for a branch manager. You need to be constantly checking your PR app stats on Vector Live. I can teach you how if you need to. Don't forget, sending names to conveyor through an interview or through training has to happen before 7:30 p.m. at night. If it doesn't happen by 7:30 p.m. at night, it gets put into a delay filter. And that delay filter, because they can't send all the names at the same time, for 500 offices nationwide, will not begin to send those messages until 10 a.m. of the next morning. So let's say you're running training, you're behind, you don't have the help, and you finish training at 5, and then you forget, and it's 8 o'clock, and you're like, oh crap, I forgot to send a conveyor. Well, you can go into Vector Live and send a conveyor, and it'll show you that they're sent, but they're not actually sent until at least 10 a.m. the next morning. But if you're not the only one who forgot, and other offices did too, guess what? Those messages aren't getting sent until probably 10:30 or 11 of the next day. You don't want to delay. Those of you who have interviews, right, and you're collecting names, right after an interview, those names should be entered into Vector Live, and once again, scrub duplicates and send the conveyor. This is a system and a pattern that needs to be checked up on a daily basis. I will tell you this, though. You will not hit your goals if all you use is conveyor to book your PRs. You must make your own calls. And we made that mistake last year, and it severely held us back from our goals. Office communication. There's a bell icon that goes off. Assistant managers you don't have access to unless your manager calls Vector Live to give you access, which means the only Vector Live account that will have access to this is going to be the actual DM or BM. Real quick, it's no longer a text message that goes to those people's phones. It's now coming through an email. It might go through their text filter, but it's coming from an email, and the email is personalized to you. It makes it way more professional. You need to check that bell icon daily and make sure that you're following up and giving positive responses. Realize that most of the responses that we get for those communications are positive ones. Things like, my car just broke down. I'm so sorry. I need to reschedule my interview. How does that look on the reputation of our team if we don't follow up with them and respond to that? That actually makes us look more scamish, doesn't it? So this needs to be happening at least 2 times a day. Cool? Also, keep in mind, right? Your manager, DM and BM, can allow up to 2 assistant managers under their user accounts to also have access to that messaging. That way there's 3 people looking over it, and depending on the day, somebody's always in there to follow up on those. But that should be an alarm on your phone that goes off, that's easy to do, also easy to forget. Rarely are the messages negative. Number 5, you got to take a great photo. I would recommend having a really nice weather in the background, right? The photo that I got for this one had a beautiful sunset, looked awesome. And then I went into paint on my computer and I put a big box around the front door and I said front door. And then I put, right, a big box that also said suite 142. And so every single person that's go through text to schedule now, when they get the link of our address as well as some helpful hints, they also get a photo of the front of the building with the red statue and a box around where our door is. You got to make it look good. Last year, I spent a whole day, literally 6 hours, and almost every office had a terrible photo, and I had to make it happen for them. Make a good photo, no type-by-type directions, just get the photo sent, and you can send that to cglazer@cutco.com, which is Fred Glazer's son, Colin, or I'm sure you can send it to Susie Payne or Fred, and they'll get it over there, right? Don't forget to check both Apple and Google on the phones. Number 6, Craigslist. Every territory has paid Craigslist ads. Expect more touches. PRs from Craigslist are key. Treat everybody as a 3-star recruit. Some of our sharpest people come through Craigslist, and some of our sharpest PRs come from PRs from Craigslist. Don't prejudge. There's a chance, could be a high chance, that your number 1 team builder or number 1 rep this summer is going to be coming from Craigslist. So never look at how they heard about the job as a decision and reason to judge. Look at how they heard about the job as a way to build a relationship and make a connection. You don't have to do anything for your Craigslist. It costs you about $25 a week. It'll be charged to your commission statement running an office. Let it just go on autopilot. Treat people with respect and treat everybody as a 3-star recruit. Number 7, terms of training. Remember, you're not allowed legally to start training with anybody until they have completed their terms of training. When somebody shows up to training, this is why we need so much help in every office from AMs. We need somebody there that can help us with the rope cutting, the sign-in, and the sending the link so that they can fill it out. It's a very simple conversation. It doesn't even need to have a script. It's like, hey, we're going to send you a link. We need you to confirm your name as well as your address. Make sure it's legit so that it goes on your contract right tomorrow. And just make sure you confirm the times of training. Sound cool? They do it on the phone. They get the bar that says success confirmation. It shows up in a check message or a checkbox in our Vector Live system, and we're good to go. What does that do? It eliminates any illegalities and a lot of lawsuits. If you didn't know this, we had a class action lawsuit because somebody said that they were never told that training was unpaid. And after sitting through 2 days of unpaid training, right, they expected to get a check. So they went to somebody, they figured they had a case. Just like any company, to save money and time, we settled a class action lawsuit for that person, which means anybody in that state, we had to pay an amount of money out to because of the class action lawsuit. All it takes is one person starting training and deciding that that's something they want to do again, and our company now loses millions. And if that happens again, things like the BMW program go away. Things like cool trips to Paris go away. Things like fun PR programs that I just promoted go away. Because we can't afford it, because we just blew a bunch of money on another stupid decision. Don't be that person. Don't be that office. There is a zero tolerance policy not to do it, and you have a 3-hour window to get it done from when training says in Vector Live it's begun. Again, is it going to make a difference if you start training on time and 15 minutes later they're signing the link? Probably not. But try to get it done before training begins and have an assistant helping that looks in Vector Live and figures out anybody who hasn't signed the terms. The number one reason that people don't sign the terms is not because they don't agree with the terms, it's because their technology isn't working to allow it to happen. So have some backup laptops, pull them into another room, say, hey, we just need to log into your Vector or log into your email account, confirm the times, and you'll be good to go. Everybody with me on that? Cool. Number 8, Google Page and Apple Maps. Recommend, highly recommend getting a Google Voice number with a local area code as your recruiting number that forwards to every cell phone. That way, it's not one cell phone that's on there. You get a Google number, you can forward that Google number to multiple cell phones. Anybody on staff that participates in your recruiting, if somebody calls the recruiting line that's a Google forwarding number, every phone will ring with that number calling. Therefore, if you two are busy in interviews and PCs, somebody's still available to answer that phone. Does that make sense? What you don't want is just one cell phone, because then if you miss the call, that person could be trying to find your office, and now, once again, scamish, not good. I also recommend that with the Google Page and Apple Maps, okay, that you are getting local reviews. This does not mean that I want to talk to all of you right now and say, everybody go to Vector Marketing Oklahoma City and go ahead and give us a good review. In fact, that's actually going to get us locked out of Google, and they'll actually delete our address. Here's why. They'll see that we're trying to manipulate our reviews. If they see everybody here, right, doing a review from the same Wi-Fi network, right, at the same time, on the same business, they're going to see we're trying to manipulate that. What instead you should do is when you have somebody to do well in your business, say, hey, thanks so much for working hard. We'd love to get a quick Google review from you. And every week you should maybe once a day or once every other day talk to one more person and try to get a review. People care about reviews. And when there's more reviews and more positive reviews, you pop up much faster than any of the other things on your office. Highly recommend Googling your office, checking out what the reviews say. If there's any negative ones, seeing if you can clean that up. But that can make the difference. Don't underestimate the power of reviews, and get 1 to 2 reviews every week. Number 9 and the final one is Facebook classified ads. It's not Facebook Jumpstart. This is Facebook Classifieds. We are posting as a company on every Facebook page using Facebook Classifieds. It's highly suggested and assumed that Facebook is trying to become the new Craigslist, and at some point Craigslist will go away. That being said, we are on it right now. If you didn't know, we're pasting Facebook classified ads. It's common, it's normal, and when those things happen, you're going to get some automatic text for info and text to schedule Facebook ads that are popping up. Here's the deal. Do not, by the way, if you have a Facebook page, it's already managed by corporate and national. Highly recommend posting about your team and your culture at least once a day or once every other day. Take a photo of your team at a team meeting. Post it up there. Brag about people. You have a rep that hits a promotion. Do a little bit of bio on him and tag him in it so that all of his family and friends can check it out. That gets more traction and more traffic to your page, right? Here's what I highly recommend not doing. Don't show that your office is open 24 hours a day. Show that your office probably opens at 8 and closes at like 9 or 10 p.m. Does that make sense? Because if you show that it's open up 24 hours a day, that looks a little bit sketchy. And also, Facebook will see that, and sometimes they can take down your Facebook page. Luckily, we know people at corporate Facebook, like the high-up vice presidents. If you didn't know that, the vice president of Facebook worked for Vector Marketing in college, and he loves Vector. He learned all of his sales skills through us. So anytime we have issues with Facebook, we have his personal cell. It's like, dude, your team's screwing with us again. He's like, I'll get on it, right? But here's the deal. We don't want to deal with that at all. Does that make sense? So make sure you're on point with it. I hope that that's helpful. Those 9 tips should get you to go to where you need to be. And the last thing I got to remind you of, guys, is Vector Live. If you have not watched your Vector Live videos, and if you don't have a very high level of understanding of how to properly navigate the shortcuts and how to look things up in Vector Live, now's the time to figure it out. Because when bullets are flying and things are going and hitting the fan, I do not have the time to take your call to walk you through how to look up an applicant or how to reschedule somebody for training or any of that. You should know those things. And I also should not be your first point of contact for asking that kind of question, right? You should be going to other people. Does that make sense? All right. That being said, thank you for being on today. I hope that you learned a lot of good stuff. Here's what I will share with you. I have only 2 assignments for everybody on here right now. As we wrap up, I hope that you gained a lot of value. Assignment number 1, go sell some freaking knives. The bottom line is this is a sales company. It's a recruiting company. And sales and recruiting are synonymous words. Let's get it. If you're not going to sell and you're not going to recruit, then you're not going to have a position of leadership in our organization because that's your job, right? So get out there. Number 2, make sure you sit down with your manager and look at LDVM and then know the day, the time, and the location for every one of your high school and college graduations, and make sure that you have advertising teams to go out there and hand-to-hand flyer. Do not do any flyering on cars. It is not okay. It is not a very good reputation, and is not who we want to be known for. But 100% show up, and anybody who looks like they're young and could use a job like this, give them a flyer. In our office, we'll be buying small envelopes. We'll be stamping those envelopes with a stamp that says congrats, throwing a flyer in there and sealing it. That way, when we're there, we're handing out envelopes. What do you think most people assume are probably in the envelope? So they're going to keep it, shove it in their pocket, and not throw it away. Then, when there's not all the busyness of the graduation and all the fun, they're going to get home, take it out, see that it says congrats, expect money, and instead find a job that pays $18 and they can make a lot of money with, which is a heck of a lot more likely that they check it out in that type of environment than when they are getting a flyer at the graduation. Everybody with me? It takes time to set up. It takes a few dollars. It kills a few trees. I'm sorry, trees. But the reality is that it gets us better business, and hopefully we can impact those leaders to go out there and plant some more trees to make up for it. Okay, that being said, guys, I got to tell you that when it comes to the flyering of high school graduations and things like that, that's not the only place you can flyer. You can also flyer movie theaters and go hand to hand. And tomorrow there is a massive movie coming out. What is it called?
Infinity War.
Endgame.
I get it. But most people aren't going tonight. Most people are going to be going when? Tomorrow. Highly recommend hitting up your different movie theaters and flyering the heck out of it and getting people tied in.
Look at me like that.
22 movies left.
All right, guys. AMs.
Can we put flyers on the car at the movies?
I mean, that's up to you if you want to. I don't know how much traction you're going to get, and you might get a complaint from the movie theater. But if that's what you want to do, then yeah, you can do it. I would just recommend that if you get asked to stop, make sure that you stop, right, and just say, hey, I didn't see any signs. But yeah, AMs, you should already know this, but your requirements before summer begins, which is like 4 days from now, is 100 PR names in a Google form for your manager to call and try to get on the team. And with all the
write that down.
PR prize levels, why would you not? Number 2, what is your plan to hit triple threat? 10K for the summer, 3+ friends on the team, and book 100 PRs. Number 3, 250+ leads so that you can go into your push periods with strength and confidence that you can hit your goals. And don't forget, I already mentioned it, but Grand Day Tuesday equals a free steak knife for anybody on the team. And that's a great way to kick off your summer strong. What does it look like when our campaign to date top 25 is over $1,000 for the top 25 on day 1 of the summer? That's an exciting start, and that shows people like Lloyd and the other divisions that we're here to freaking take over, and we're here to dominate. Does that make sense? So I will see you back on here in about 23 minutes. Thank you for a great Leadership Academy. I hope that you learned a lot.